Hello folks, and welcome to my YouTube channel about aviation. My name is Andrey Borisevich and I'm creating videos about airplanes, flight training, flights, traveling and everything around aviation. Subscribe to my channel if you didn't do that, and let's go. Today I have this Piper Cheyenne 400LS for my flight review. This is definitely pinnacle of 1980s engineering of Piper aircraft. This airplane was built to match the jet-like performances back in 1984. The airplane was in production from 1984 until 1991 when Piper Aircraft filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and this was end for Piper Cheyenne series era. The Piper Cheyenne 400LS, this is an extension of the line of Piper Cheyennes, which was Piper Cheyenne 1, 2, 3, 3A, and 400LS. Initially, the name of this Piper was Piper Cheyenne 4, but on a test line, this airplane shows the airspeed more than 400 miles per hour. So the marketing of Piper Aircraft decided to create a new name, Piper Cheyenne 400LS. And guess what is LS stands for? LS means Learjet speed. The reason why, because the aircraft performance shows the airspeed around 350 knots, which is exactly matched to Learjet airspeed. So this aircraft was built like a competitor for Cessna Citation 1 or Learjet or any light business jet in the middle of 80s. And it's matched performances of business jet with fuel efficiency and fuel cost and operational cost of classic turboprop. This aircraft was absolute game changer in the middle of 80s because it was no any other turboprops who can match the speed, altitude and range to Piper Cheyenne 400LS. This aircraft demonstrates the maximum speed in the whole class of turboprops aircraft. And not only airspeed, but also range and altitude. The maximum cruise altitude for this aircraft is 41,000 feet. I climbed on this aircraft to flight level 400 1 week ago. It was my first time and the last time when I climbed on this airplane so high. It took for me 45 minutes, but this airplane is really capable to climb to flight level 400 or even 410 and should demonstrate airspeed around 330 knots. I would say 350 is speed from the papers, from the PUH, but in real life, I personally saw 320, 325, 330 easily. So this airplane can give you 330 knots through speed on the flight level, even 290. You don't have to go so high on your VSM airspace. You can stay lower on flight level 290 and you will get the 330 knots airspeed, which is, I will compare it to Citation Ultra, the flight review we did recently. If you didn't see this flight review on my YouTube channel, just go back on my videos and find the Cessna Citation Ultra flight review. And I will compare Citation Ultra with Piper Cheyenne because it's really similar. For example, Cessna Citation Ultra can give you 400 knots. This airplane will give you 330. But fuel consumption rate will be 35–50% more on Cessna Citation than here. So cost per mile will be cheaper on Piper Cheyenne than on Cessna Citation. With the same payload, with the same amount of people, and the same range. Is it interesting? I think so. So I will talk about fuel efficiency and performances a little bit later when we're going to do Walkaround. Just one interesting fact. Did you know that Piper aircraft manufacturer belongs to Brunei government? Really? I think this is something we have to discuss with Donald Trump sometime. Let's take a closer look on this aircraft. This is a beautiful machine, jet-like performances, turboprop, Piper Cheyenne 400LS. The Piper Cheyenne 400LS you see in this video was personally acquired by me for one of my European clients. I manage the aircraft, including pilot training and crew selection, flight planning, overflight and landing permits, ground handling coordination, and fuel arrangements. This customer has already purchased their third aircraft with us, a true sign of trust and long-term partnership. If you're dreaming of your own private jet or corporate business jet, FlyDreams Aircraft Group is your trusted partner in the world of aviation. My name is Andrey, and for over 15 years, I've been helping clients buy, sell, and manage aircraft across the globe. We assist private individuals and businesses in finding the perfect airplane or helicopter, from the first consultation to final delivery anywhere in the world. We also offer tailored leasing and financing solutions, making aircraft ownership more accessible than ever. And if you're looking to sell your aircraft, we'll take care of the entire process, from marketing to closing the deal. FlyDreams provides a full range of services: technical inspections, registration, insurance, certification, and professional aircraft management in Europe, the Middle East, Asia, and the United States. Our clients don't just get an aircraft. They gain freedom, comfort, and the peace of mind that their asset is in good hands. FlyDreams Aircraft Group. We turn your dream of flying into reality. So let's start from engine group with propeller and engine, because this is what gives this airplane real jet-like performances. First of all, if you can see, the prop is 5 blades prop, not like on other Cheyennes, because other Cheyennes, they usually have 3 blade props. Initially on this model it was 4 blade props, but this is upgraded version. It's empty prop composite, and this prop is making really low level of noise. Passengers can talk to each other without any headsets, just normal voice, without any raising the level of voice, because of the props. Props is really good. And of course, the heart of this airplane is engines. Despite the Piper Cheyenne 3 or 3A, where it was PT6 Pratt & Whitney engines, Piper Cheyenne 400LS has Honeywell Garrett TPE331-14 engines. The horsepower of these engines is 1,000 horsepower. Can you imagine? The total weight of this aircraft, total takeoff weight, gross weight, is 12,000 pounds. 12,050 to be precise. And we have 2,000 horsepower for this weight. So the airplane is climbing like a rocket. That's real skyrocket. And I can tell you interesting fact about this airplane one more time. Back in April 1985, this airplane set 2 world records of time to climb to altitude, 3,000 and 6,000 in the whole class. I'm not sure if this record was beaten, but at this time in 1985, it was the best climb performance aircraft. And I can tell you my personal experience as a pilot of this airplane, as soon as you put the full power on the rollout, and you start rollout and you start your climb after liftoff, it's like a Learjet 60. I feel on this aircraft exactly like I feel in my Learjet 60 back in the days when I flew for charter airlines. So engines and props, this is unique for the whole series Piper Cheyenne. It makes some problem, of course, some issues, because it's unusual engine. It's not the PT6, not Pratt & Whitney, so it's a little bit more costly to maintain, a little bit harder to maintain, and it's adds some additional movements for the pilot. For example, this aircraft and this propeller, they have ability to be locked. The propeller can be locked in a special position, like in the feather position, 0 angle of attack, and pilot must execute special procedure for engine startup and engine shutdown. I'll show you later in flight. Let's walk around, let's continue walk, and we will talk about some special features of this aircraft I would like to pay attention. As soon as we on this side of aircraft, I would like to talk about de-icing system. This is the same de-ice system like in King gears, like in other turboprops. It's boots, which can be pressurized by bleed air from the engine and remove ice using the air. And the boots operate usually from left to right, left outside, left inside, right outside, and tail. As you can see, the tail and wings, they equipped with de-ice boot system. Of course, we have additional de-ice system on the prop. You can see it here. We can have de-ice on the pedostatic, on the windshield. It's electrical. And this aircraft is certified to fly in known icing conditions. It has limitations, of course. You cannot operate, for example, boots if it's temperature outside more than minus 40 degrees Celsius. But as long as this aircraft is a high altitude aircraft, which is able to climb to flight level 410, of course, the ice system must be on this aircraft. And we have it. Baggage compartments. I really like these nose baggage compartments. When I did flight review about Ultra, I already talked about that. And these baggage compartments really useful for pilot storage and other small stuff. 150 pounds total payload for the whole nose baggage compartment, which is really cool. It's about 70 kilos. So you can put cabin size bags here. You can put oil like we have here, a spare of tires, spare of oil, and all other stuff. As you can see, battery charger outside. We have special plug. If your battery discharge, you can connect it to outlet, 110 volts or 220 volts, and connect it. We have special connector, and you can charge your battery from outside. We also have GPU connector, 28 volts. So if you decided to start the engine from GPU, you can start it from GPU. When we use GPU, we always start from engine number 2, right engine. Then disconnect the GPU and start the left engine. I barely use GPU for engine start because if you have 24 volts on the batteries, it's easy to start from battery, even if it's cold outside. So let's close baggage compartment door and continue our walk around. Too many keys on this airplane. One key from our one baggage compartment, second baggage compartment, and main door. I don't know why. So, interesting fact, it's not an unusual, it's kind of normal for the airplanes. You see the mirror, it's the small mirror here. It's visible from pilot side. So in case of nose gear, indication will be not reliable. For example, burnt bulb in the cockpit, we can see the nose gear in this mirror. As usually, pitot tube, we have 2 pitot tubes here, left side and right side, pilot and co-pilot. Pay attention. So while I'm here on the nose wheel, I just would like to show you and stress how high the struts on this airplane. This aircraft is higher than Piper Cheyenne 300 on 3 inches. And I can tell you it's visible from the ground. This airplane really feels like it's a tall airplane. And the reason for that, because aircraft is certified for landing on unpaved runways, like a grass runway, and not prepared runways for landings. And it's really cool because, as you can see by struts, it can be landed on a grass runway and take off from the grass runway. This aircraft has unbelievable performances for takeoff and landing. Especially for landing, we just landed with my cameraman Oleg about 2 hours ago. We used 2,000 feet runway to completely stop. Why? Because the props, they have reverse position, and in the reverse position, the reverse is so strong and so powerful, I can feel it better than the Citation Ultra. Airplane will stop almost immediately. This is really cool. For takeoff, we need barely 3,000, maybe 3,500 feet. Actually, we are in Valkaria airport, which is X-59 in Florida. This is an interesting story about this airport. I met the guy who is the general manager of this airport about 5 years ago when I was looking for additional space for my flight school. And I fly all over the Florida to find a nice location. And I found this airport, it was empty. No airplanes, one runway was closed, only one runway was open. The fuel station was here. Temporary building, an FBO, and I met this guy. We talked about a couple of hours. He told me he was voted by government to manage this airport with huge budget of $23 million a year. And I can see how he developed this airport. So many hangars right now. The new building is here. There's so many airplanes. On all advertising outside, it says we don't have any available space. And he told me 5 years ago, the waiting list for the hangar at this time was for 5 years. And today is 2025. This is a small regional airport in the middle of nowhere. And I can see airplanes flying around the pattern all the time. All the time. The two airplanes right now in the pattern. One just on the downwind and one on a short final. Let's move forward. Of course, landing gear is retractable. No doubts about that because it's a high-speed airplane. So nose wheels and main gear should be retracted. The maximum speed for retraction is 170. And this interesting part of these wingtips, it's nothing else than fuel tanks. Of course, it's a fuel tank inside the wing, and fuel tank is here. So the only one fuel filler on each wing, the wingtips, right here. And the total fuel capacity on this aircraft is 582 gallons, US gallons, which is equal to 3,900 pounds. When we're gonna fly, I will show you an indication. It's 1,800 pounds in each wing. 582 gallons unusable fuel and 570 is usable fuel, enough to fly almost 4 hours and a half. With this airspeed, flying 4 hours and a half, you can have range about 1,500 miles, which is not bad, right? 1,500 miles is comparable to what King Air 200 has and what is Citation Ultra has. So I will repeat it again. This is jet-like performance turboprop. Let's continue. Everything else is just normal ailerons, flaps. The flaps is really, really big. So the length of the flap is almost 2/3 of the wing, and it allows you to land this aircraft on a speed about 95-100 knots. I can tell you again, comparing to Cessna Citation Ultra, this is the same approach speed and the same landing speed. About 105-100 knots. This is a normal approach speed for this aircraft. Touchdown will be about 85-90 knots. I already told you this airplane is really, really high. So the T-tail, it's sign you see Piper Cheyenne 400 series, because on a 2 and 1, you can see the classical horizontal empennage. It will be on the lower side of the fuselage, but not on the top. The T-tail was created because of exhaust from the engines, from the Garrett engines. I already told you it's 1,000 horsepower. The exhaust gases is really create vortex generation, and Piper manufacturer decided to build T-tail instead of classic tail. And now we're approaching to the most interesting part of this aircraft. I think this is the best application of this aircraft is a cargo transportation, because I'll show you the doors. This aircraft has 2 doors. We will return back to this in 5 seconds. And I'm just talking about the gross weight and useful payload. The maximum gross weight of this aircraft for takeoff is 12,050 pounds. And useful load is 4,800, which means if you take full tanks, 3,800 pounds, you still have 1,000 for passengers, pilots, and cargo. 1,000 with full tanks is really cool. If you take half tanks, you can load 2,000 pounds, 3,000 pounds in this airplane, and you can ferry this cargo to Bahamas, islands, or other destinations with short runways, unpaved runways, and this is really cool. So let's see the doors. Main passenger door is pretty big. It's 59 inches height and 26 inches width. But the second door is the most interesting part. If you need to load some big stuff inside, you can open the cargo door. You can disconnect this strut and you can load whatever you want. You can load engines, boat motors, bicycles, motorcycles. Let's take a look from the far and we will see how big this door is. I would say it's even better than Cessna Citation Ultra. It's bigger, wider. more comfortable. Actually, one more feature of this aircraft, we have toilet here, and you can use this like a bio, like in a Cessna Citation. Let's talk about the privacy. As you can see, this cabin design doesn't have any wall between the main cabin and the toilet, but if you see these holes, the wall was here before, we just remove it. So this is the wall here, the door here, and the big cabinet here with coffee, tea, and all this stuff. So as I mentioned before many times, this aircraft was designed to compete with light business jet, so with the same features: cabin club seating, toilet, special space for, it's not a kitchen, but it's like tea, coffee, and some snacks. If you like, you can put the refrigerator here. So it's really good airplane. And if we already here, let's talk about cargo. The maximum capacity on this section is 300 pounds, which is a lot. So you can put a lot of stuff here using this cargo door, of course. So if you load something here, you can just directly put it in the baggage compartment, which we did on this airplane. Okay, are you ready to fly? Let's go fly. This is beautiful machine, I told you. Jet-like performances. We're gonna fly this aircraft back to Fort Lauderdale Executive from Valkaria, and I'll try to show you all performances I can get. Let's go. Okay, let's start the engine on Piper Cheyenne 400LS. So the procedure, I will do it briefly. As usually, we have a checklist. It's really hot inside, so we'll do it really quick. Before starting engine, checklist completed, passenger brief, parking brake set, wheel chocks removed, seat belts adjusted, cockpit lights, exterior lights, strops on, RPM levers down, ECS comfort fan is off, battery switch, left and right battery switch is on, and push to connect on the cross tie. Cross tie to verify the voltage, 25 here, 25 here, perfect. We have 25 volts for start. Generators both off, flight management control checked, we have fuel on board, all good. Start locked, engaged. So as I mentioned before, for engine start we should use low RPM, start selector on parallel, and thrust levers must be in the ground idle. Voltmeter 24, we have more. And let's start from engine number 2, right side engine. We have fuel pump is running and power. Engine panel switch, all green, ready to start. My right finger on the stop, looking at RPM. EGT is rising. Okay. We have limits here, 785 temperature max on the engine start, not more than 10 seconds. We way below that, 700, AGT rolling down, everything looks good to me. Let's wait until RPM established at 65. Perfect. RPM at 65, AGT stable, all good. Normal start on the right engine. Let's finish with engine number 2. Select fuel pump is on, all green here, and right generator. I can see the generator is on because we have 28 volts right now. Engine start number 1. RPM is 10, 12, EGT is rising, looking good. Normal start. ECS comfort fan. So we start the engines, avionics on, master 1, master 2, inverters on, and all green here, all green here, all green here, all green here. Working on a checklist, fuel pumps at auto, GPU removed, and generators is on. Before taxi, verify on the best generators is done. ECS control, It's on, and it's gonna cool down right now. It's much better than before. Gyro pressure, green, pneumatic green, oxygen 1300, all good. Pressurization set, passenger seats, fuel inverters, all good. Passenger on board, okay. We can start taxi. So as you can see, I just moved thrust levers from ground idle to flight idle to give me a little bit more power, but this is a really interesting feature, and if pilot forget to do that, it's going to be a problem. To remove props from lock position, from feather position to normal position, we have to go to feather. Let's do it right now. Feather. Now props moving out from lock position and back to ground idle. And now we have much more RPMs. Here we go. Now I'm sure we did it. The props is unlocked right now. It happened to me a couple of times, I'll be honest, when I didn't move props from locked position, and it's really bad on takeoff. You're trying to take off, but you don't have torque. The worst case scenario, when one engine unlocked and second one is not unlocked, then you can see torque on one engine only, and you have so huge moment from right side to left side, depending from which one is unlocked. You can barely hold airplane on the runway. So it happens to me twice at least. When it happened to me, I was scared because you don't understand what's going on. You're trying to get more power and the airplane is just skidding off runway. So you should be really careful when you start your loud. Just adjust thrust really slow. Make sure you have movement on torque. When you see torque about 20%, it means it's good. So definitely props unlocked and you can continue your takeoff. This is a couple of features of this aircraft. You see, I'm using ground idle all the way down and the airplane is still accelerating. So it's really hard to maintain 2,000 horsepower in one place. So it's just trying to move forward. Here we go. I'm ready to go. Are you? Number 1 2-day trip on Icon A5 from FXC to Bahamas and back. Nothing can cost more than great adventure. Wow, this is so cool. Airspeed alive, 100 knots, skyrocketing. Woohoo, woohoo! So guys, we just took off from Valkaria airport back to executive, and I promised you to show some kind of performances. We already have 220 knots and altitude is 2,500, unbelievable. And if you can see in the takeoff performances, it was skyrocketing like, I don't know, 6,000 feet per minute. Unbelievable performance for this aircraft, for turboprops. Let's climb to 4,000. I think these small windows is bad just because this aircraft, like a jet, the main purpose to fly high by instrument, so you don't have to see anything, to be honest. So it's a beautiful airplane. When I'm flying this airplane on high altitude, it feels heavier than Citation and a little bit harder to maintain and control than Citation, to be honest. It's weird, but this is true. This is jet-like airplane, has all functions like a big jet. So you can see the panel. It's kind of pretty old 6-pack panel, but despite that, everything else is automated. We have fuel damper here, we have autopilot. So let's put heading on, and let's set vertical speed, altitude selected 6,500, heading mode, and autopilot on. Boom. So now airplane is on autopilot, and you can see by speed we have 220 indicated airspeed and 246 is a ground speed. So the true speed on this altitude is already like 250. We only on 6,000 feet. You can imagine if we climb to flight level 290, how better the performance will be for this aircraft. And I have vertical speed adjustment here, so we can climb 500 feet per minute. And you can see autopilot panel, so autopilot engage, nav armed, altitude armed. Approaching to 6,500, altitude armed. I see perfectly shoreline, no traffic in the vicinity, everything looks good. We will talk a little bit about overhead panels. So as you can see, everything is in fancy buttons, no switches like no knobs, battery switches, GPU, so this is kind of electrical panel. This is tests, all kind of tests. Generator test, overspeed test, engine limiters, etc., etc., etc. Data recording, stall tests, and dome lights, exit lights. And what I would like to tell you about engine limiters. If you pay attention to EGT red light, red idle here, so this red needle shows me my limit by EGT. So what does it mean? I don't have to open the book. I don't have to look at the numbers. The airplane itself reminds me what is my limit in terms of EGT. So now I'm limited by EGT. I can use full power, or I limited by torque. My torque is 104%. This is my max. And my speed right now is 230, and ground speed is 270. 270 knots, and we barely using 80% of torque. Fuel consumption rate right now is 450 pounds per engine. It can be much better because we're flying on a low level altitude. We're flying 6,500. If I would climb to 14,000, for example, the fuel efficiency will be 400, even less. And as you can see, even with these parameters, we already have 270 knots and a ground speed. I believe we also have headwind. So beautiful, beautiful performances. We're almost close to maximum speed on airspeed. Never exceeded speed 244 and VMO 0.62 Mach. This is from the top of my head. So with this kind of speed, flying 100 miles will take less than 20 minutes. I think it's great. So as you can see, the panel itself is old style, but all steam gauges is working. We have altitude selector, we have a full autopilot, we have GPS, Garmin 530, we have Aviation 500 as a MFD display, we have ATSB, GTX 335, secondary radio, third radio, secondary nav, third nav, and we have 2 ADF. I don't know who is using ADF right now. I'm not using ADF, but we still have ADF tools here, the ADF instrument here, and we have full set of backup instruments on the right side. Recently we just installed GI 275 on the right side for co-pilot if it's required. This is pressurization control. The max differential pressure on this aircraft can be 7.7. So if you climb to some kind of altitude, you just need to turn this knob and adjust your desired altitude, and you will see the vertical speed in the cabin is going up. I will go down right now, and the differential pressure happens here. So cabin is climbing at 1000 right now, and we physically have differential pressure 2 psi right now. On a high altitude, when I flew 400, the differential pressure was about 7.5. Cabin was close to 10,000. For me, the best performance in this aircraft on flight level 290 below RVSM, and you will have approximately the same performances. You will have 400 pounds per hour per engine fuel consumption rate, and you will have airspeed
close to 300, 330 through on flight level 290, and cabin will fly at 6,000 to maybe 5,000 feet, which is really comfortable for passengers. We also have secondary instrument panel here, exterior lights, ice protection, avionics, and engine control panel right here. The airplane is flying perfect, and as you can see, I'm flying an autopilot right now, your damper on, autopilot on. This airplane can do any kind of approaches, ILS, localizer, LPV. The GPS we have is VAS approved, so we can do GPS RNF approach down to LPV minimum, and everything like in the business jet. So it's unbelievable. We have 40 miles to go to Executive Airport, and we have 8 minutes only by time. 40 miles, 8 minutes. So which means we're flying 5 miles per minute, right? Beautiful airspeed, beautiful performances. I really like this airplane because it's really comfortable and it's not noisy, so we can talk to each other even without headsets. 1-3 clear to land, 44 Charlie Alpha.
November 5-4 Kilo, turn base, runway 13 clear, touch and go number 2.
Turn right base, runway 13 clear, 70.
Okay, gear down. Full flaps. Landing light. Okay, 3 green, full flaps. Landing light is on.
November A16 Quebec, executive, runway 9 clear to land.
Runway 9 clear to land, number 812 Quebec. Just south by top of fuel, can I get one check?
Wind 130 at 16.
Sure.
Executive ground, 44 Charlie Alpha, clear runway 13 at Bravo 2, taxi to Bravo 7. And it's really funny how you can taxi using differential thrust. So if one engine on the reverse and second one on the normal, it's going to turn left, or vice versa, turn right. It's really cool. For example, I need to do 180 turn right now, left engine to reverse, second one is stays, and it's just an amazing. I love this plane. Okay, parking brake, flips up. Now is a really important thing I told you before, how to shut down the engine on these Garrett, Honeywell Garrett 331-14 engines. It's not so easy like on PT6. So we have a couple of Titans here. This is reverse, this is neutral position, the start position, and this is forward position. So we have flight idle, this is flight idle, 85%, and we have ground idle. Ground idle about 65% RPM. So when we would like to shut down the engine, we would like to keep them on a ground idle, low RPM, and when I stop the engines out from 65, I need to put props to reverse, and then they're gonna lock in a neutral position, and then to move it forward. So let's see how it works in real life. First of all, we need to disengage generators, master switches, and pumps. Let's start from pumps. Fuel pump, fuel pump, fuel pump. So fuel pump is off, avionics off. I will do avionics because you're gonna lose my voice. And generators. Generator off.
To go back clear of 9 on Golf down to Bravo 7.
Until RPM will be 10. RPM 10 and cross levers to ground idle position, and they should be locked right now. That's it. Hey folks, how was your flight? Was good?
Amazing.
Perfect. So as you can see in the passenger comfort side, there's a lot of space here. It's a club seating, 4 seats here and 3 seats behind. We have special configuration with divan because this aircraft has special STC for divan. Overall, it's take 7 passengers. I would say it's pretty enough space, like in a small jet, like in a Citation M2, Citation Mustang, for example. The only one problem I really don't like in this cabin, it's a really small distance between seats. So when you walk through this aisle, it's really hard to walk. Other than that, everything is perfect. So you can adjust the seat, you can sleep here, so you can hang out. All these vents is giving you fresh air. You have reading lights, everything like in a small light jet. And as we mentioned before, the noise level from these props and these engines is really low. You can talk to your passengers, to your friends or family like a normal. Let's go outside and I'll talk to you about operational cost and price for this aircraft. Well, we did a full flight review for beautiful Piper Cheyenne 400LS, and the only one item I just missed, it's operational cost and price. It's a fun fact that the price for this aircraft almost unchanged since 1985, for almost 40 years. When this aircraft was first for sale, brand new from the factory, the listed price was $1.3 million. It's almost the same price like today. Right now you can find Piper Cheyenne 400LS on the market in the range between 1 million and 1.4 million, depends on conditions, total time, etc. etc. For example, this aircraft is for sale right now for $1,150,000. And let's talk about operational cost. I already told you that fuel consumption rate is really good on this aircraft. We burn about 100 gallons an hour, which gives me like $600–700 in the United States, not in Europe, in the United States. And then you can add insurance, hangar cost, and maintenance cost. And I can tell you the maintenance cost can be significant on this aircraft depending on what happened and what's going on with technical conditions of this aircraft. For example, my first annual inspection on this aircraft cost me $55,000. It includes some minor stuff. This is what I paid back in 2022. In 2023, the annual inspection with all kind of replacement, repairs, etc. was about like 70 grand. So if something major happens, like, I don't know, windshield, for example, replacement is 50 grand, maybe major repair you need, it can be like 100,000, something like that. So I would say from maintenance perspective of view, this airplane will cost you the same like a business jet, probably the same like Citation, maybe sometimes more expensive, because only 44 airplanes was produced in 80s and not so many parts, not so many airplanes, not so many stuff available on the market. So take this in consideration. If you want to buy turboprop like that, just give me a call and I'll help you. If you would like to buy exactly this aircraft is for sale right now, just give me a call and we will talk. If you would like to buy some jets, also give me a call and I'll help you to find the proper airplane for your needs. Again, my name is Andrey. Subscribe to my channel, stay with me, and wait for my next videos. Thank you so much.